Venture Podcast here. Today I have Jake Cleveland, Associate Director of Brokerage here with us this morning, while my business partner Doug is out in the Dominican in a lot nicer weather than we have up here in Minnesota today. We got different guests, different topics. We're going to have a little bit of fun with it. So Jake, maybe start with telling us a little bit about yourself, what you do here, kind of a little bit of backstory. Anything that viewers might want to see or hear.
Yeah, for sure. So, Jake Cleveland, as Austin said, Associate Director of Brokerage. Been at Adventure just over 4 years now. Came in really off the streets, was selling wine one day, and the next day was selling real estate. Started off associate, turned advisor, turned into the role that I do now, and seen the company progress, seen the real estate industry progress in 4 years, and I guess now at this point really starting to dig into working with the team more, especially as more agents come aboard, and just as our direction and the wind behind the sails change and all that kind of stuff, just constantly morphing and doing what we can to take to the next level and keep moving forward.
Yes, you went from slinging booze to slinging real estate,
slinging
right?
Booze, yeah.
Yeah, or I mean, really can't really sling the real estate, but we can kind of say it that way, right? What's the difference with that? Like, how does somebody go from slinging booze one day, hospitality background, to getting into real estate? Like, how does that work? And like, what's the learning curve, right? Because you see a lot of times when people in the industry will talk about it like, oh yeah, my dad was in real estate, or like I come from a commercial real estate background, so that's how you get into it, right? But what's it like from the other side, for people who don't have the background and then they get into it?
No, it's a great point. You know, for me personally, I think the ethos of both are very similar. I mean, they are sales jobs at the end of the day. I mean, sales, you don't even have to be in commission-based sales. I mean, everybody is selling something somewhere, it seems like, always, no matter what industry you're in.
Yeah.
But at least those two had a lot of bleed over just with, you know, here's your goal, where do you want to be, create your roadmap, how to get there. You know, liquor industry is a little bit different. I mean, it was more on a month-by-month basis, and then obviously big pushes for every quarter. But again, real estate's kind of the same way. You know, look for the opportunity, where to take it. You know, in that industry, it was look at your accounts, see where various products could potentially fit in. Here, it's look at your clients, see what sort of products, being different building types that they're looking for, and where that fits in. So it's similar, it's just the volume and the scale of it's kind of different, but
the numbers are different.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
it's the same process, except you add a couple zeros to some of the stuff.
yeah,
right?
and you're probably, you know, we would sell, you know, 30-40,000 cases of booze in a year, whereas here, you know, obviously you're not doing that many deals, but you know, still setting that goal, trying to just create your roadmap how to get there, and sure the numbers fall.
Gotcha. So when you started just as kind of an associate and grew your way through, like, what's the difference between like what you were doing then and like what you're doing today with the company?
Yeah. So first came in, I mean, and obviously anybody listening or doing any digging like the company, I mean, been friends with you for a long time, so really when it came
couple
in,
years, right?
Just a couple. So really when I came in, it was really you were at that point where you needed to kind of elevate to that next level, and you needed somebody to backfill a lot of those roles, you know, the listing, maintenance, marketing, that sort of thing. So truly as an associate, it was coming in, and I think we kind of just found it as time went on. I mean, obviously you had kind of a roadmap of what you needed to do, but those processes were just kind of built as we did it. But it was really, I think initially it was offloading a lot off your plate, and then when the time came, like once I got my license, and then it was taking on some clients, again, taking stuff off your plate, and then at that point, organically, there were some, you know, third-party stuff coming in, so I'd work on them. So really as an associate, it was just coming in, doing the market data, figuring out how this industry works, how buildings are measured and categorized and all that kind of stuff. And then from an associate perspective, did that for a year and a half, and then it was moving into the advisor role. Like, I think once I had the confidence in myself to start working with clients more direct and not needing your direction on it, elevated that or moved into more of that advisor type role, and then was working with clients direct. And then honestly did that again for like another year and a half, where it kind of got to that point again where it was time you needed to do more up here, and it was like, well, let's fill in that and just kind of keep figuring out those roles. And then for myself, like for all three of those positions, I mean, one of the biggest things that I enjoy is just kind of making it my own as well. I mean, that's what's fun here. I mean, you or Doug, whoever else, I mean, it's kind of, here's the guidelines, but then go out and find a way to do it. And for all three of those roles, I mean, various processes have been put in place just because it's like, hey, we need to do this. Well, yeah, we'll go find a way to do it, and then
well, that's the fun part of what we do here, right? Is like you said, with how you grew up through it. That's what we strive for from a company standpoint, is having people that are in here that have the drive, they're aligned with the mission, the core values, the vision of the company, so they can come up with us, right? So it's not just like us as the owners trying to say like, okay, managing like this level of people. No, we want to create something to where like you have your division and you get to manage your team, right, with set guidelines that we're trying to do, and that's what you get to do now, and that's what we do with all the other divisions within the company. So that it's not a micromanage, it's not anything like that, but it's a way for us all to grow and scale our way through it. But one of the things that we do so differently is we aren't a traditional brokerage, right? Like, none of us have brokerage experience. I don't have brokerage experience, right? We came into this, Doug is an entrepreneur, I'm an entrepreneur. That's how we operate, right? So maybe talk a little bit on what you see is like different from a brokerage standpoint that we do maybe than what we see in the market elsewise. Like, what makes us unique?
Our team-driven aspect, I think that's one thing, at least for me coming in with no real estate experience. I mean, that was a big reason. I mean, I never thought about, real estate, getting into it. I mean, obviously, knowing you and kind of seeing what you were doing and learning from you, or not at that, I mean, not learning at that point, just really being curious of what you were doing. I mean, that was kind of the foot in. But like, I remember the first time I met with you about it, it's like, we're not on billboards. We don't have, the tilted head pictures of your agents, and nothing against anybody that does that. A lot of people that have your traditional,
it's a successful way of doing it, right?
They find great success doing it. It works for them. But like for me coming in, it was so much more of like, we're going to bring people in, we're going to educate them, we're going to teach them how to do it, and then when that time comes, then they're a team player on the team of really going out and helping everybody else. So I think that aspect, I mean, obviously with real estate, there's that fine line of like, I think individuals that work in the industry, you still need to give them the ability to go out and like hunt for themselves, and like that drive needs to be there. So it's still stimulating.
It's still commission. I mean, brokerage is still a commission game. It's just how do you operate from a company standpoint.
But I look at our firm and what we do here, I mean, I share an office with property management staff. I walk 2 doors down. I can ask you a question. I can go on the other side. I can ask Jason a question for maintenance or whatever. It's just so much more of like rising tide, rises all ships here. Whereas I think in other brokerages, it's, you have your teams, but then they, really kind of look out for
they're
themselves.
Still individualized, right? It's like you are a big firm or any other firm, even residential for that matter. It's all, you shoot what you kill. You're my clients. I'm not sharing any information with you because like technically like we're on the same company, but like we're competing against each other, right? Which I don't necessarily really believe in from a long-term company growth standpoint, because how do you build a brokerage that's sustainable long term that everyone's just competing for their own things, right? Like, everyone needs to go find their own clients, but you should feel okay to have like the help and the assistance and like still talk with the team about how do you grow it. and then talk with construction or property management, like you said, or maintenance or investments or whatever it is, so you can provide that best value for the business owner, right? And I think that's the one thing that the industry lacks sometimes is it's all about the fee. Like, where's the next deal? Where's the next deal? Well, no, how do we help more business owners, right? Because yeah, it's a fee-based business, but in the end, it's all about helping the business owner, right? If you're not providing the value for the business owner, what are you doing? You're just collecting a fee for doing nothing, right?
Well, totally. I mean, it's value for the business owner, you know, in various deals, but then it's just the third party, just like any other brokerage. I mean, we do the same thing here. It's just value for the client. You're working with, whether it just be an individual looking to sell a building. They may not be, you know, a business owner wanting to go and buy a building for themselves. Like, they just may want to transact out, and that's it. And it's where do we plug in, and where can we help, and where can we add that value?
Yeah, it's the simple stuff, right? Like, say what you're gonna do, you do what you say, and it just becomes like your legacy in the end, right? But it's as easy as picking up the phone. Sometimes it's hard to get people to pick up the phone, right? We try to get listings or we try to do showings for spaces, and nobody picks up the phone. Well, how the hell, like, that person's client, like, is totally getting screwed over because, like, their agent isn't picking up the phone. It's real estate, right? And I don't care if you're, like, if that's a problem, right? So if you're at a big brokerage, or, like, you're in a situation where it's not really team-based, I call you, but, like, you're shooting your own stuff, so you're not sharing the information, but you're on vacation, right? You're not going to forward your calls to the other agent in the office because, like, I'll be back in 2 days. Well, in real estate,
2 days.
In real estate, time is money, right? Like, time kills all deals. So in that circumstance, that client's going somewhere else, and they might never come back. That's the easy stuff, right? But working as a team, then it's like, okay, like, XYZ, can you call this person back, set it up, like, go tour them, go walk them through the space to make sure it all happens. Because the one thing in this industry is it's totally driven by the business owner. Whatever the hell the business owner wants, you have to provide. Doesn't matter what it is. You just got to commit to it and say, okay, I got to figure it out. Right? There's no other option. It's the same as one of the clients that we represent. We represent as a group, right? Even though it's my client, but we do $10,000 land acquisitions for him. Why? Because he's our client. We do all of his stuff. I'm not going to tell him no, like, I'm not going to do that. We don't make any money from it, right? We get a $200 commission check, but the reality is we're providing the service for the person for their business. If you provide the service for them, regardless of what you're making, because it should never be about money, it should be about providing the service. In the end, they're happy, you're happy, and you'll never lose that client because you're providing a service for them that they can't do.
Oh, exactly. You're giving them time back.
Exactly.
I really think, like, the agency standpoint, that's a big piece of it. It's giving, especially, you know, focusing on the business owner perspective specifically, like, they work full time in their business. We're all busy. We all have our own lives. And it's like, I always kind of joke, like, with real estate agents and just agency in general, whether you're a professional athlete hiring an agent or if you're a musician hiring an agent, like, you can go out and do it yourself. You can, but we do it every day, and I've learned something new every single day that I've came into this office. Like, again, it's like leveraging that value, that knowledge, so that you can give that business owner their time back. It's like, you do what you do every day, I do what I do every day, let me do what I do every day, so then you can go out and do more of what you do.
Yeah.
You know?
It's kind of like, why should business owners hire commercial real estate agents and only commercial real estate agents? What do you think on that?
I really do think it's the knowledge piece of it. You know, nothing against residential agents. They do what they do, but there's a reason why we're not selling houses along with selling commercial property. I mean, people loop it as one big bucket, which real estate is one big bucket, but there are two very clear lanes. If you ask anybody that works in the industry, they will tell you there's two very clear lanes, and it's like, it's a different language, it's a different way of doing things, it's a different schedule a lot of the times. It's a whole different process and way of thinking in the same, you know, larger bucket. And I think the knowledge you get from working strictly in commercial real estate, like, you naturally just are better at it compared to somebody that doesn't do it. And it's same reason why, like, we have people in this office that when they go to buy a house, like, yeah, as an agent, we can represent ourselves, but like, they have the time, they're better at it, like hire the residential agent to do that for you.
Well, that's why we have referral partners, right? Like we don't totally get into residential, and we have plenty of residential agents that don't get into commercial, so we refer stuff back and forth, and we pay fees back and forth. We have a few deals right now that we've gotten from residential agents that we get that lease closed, we get something else, we're giving them a referral fee. They don't have to do anything, right? But the difference is they don't have to try to learn commercial either. Like the tours are different, the communication is different, the leases are different, and most importantly, like they can't provide the value to that business owner. Like it's just not possible, right? Just like I can't provide the value to you to help you go buy a house. No, I don't know what's going on in the market. I don't know what the terms are that we should go after. I don't know what the rates need to be or how the PA needs to be set up or any of those things. Could we figure it out? Sure. But it would take way too much time.
It would take time. It's just like the business owner concept we said before. It's like it would take too much time.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the same with, I mean, we talk about it all the time, but like people need brokers, right? Like brokers get a bad, word or a bad name in the industry maybe sometimes, but companies need commercial real estate agents to help them find spaces, because I mean we look at it all the time, right? Because we're on both sides. We're on the broker side and we're on the ownership side, because we own as much real estate as we do, and we represent all of our own stuff within this market. And we see it all the time when somebody comes in without an agent or with a residential agent, your deal is going to be way different than if you hired a commercial real estate agent. I don't care who says anything else. Like, the landlord wins 100% of the time if there's not a commercial agent on the other side. If it's just you as a business owner coming to me, like, I'm gonna win as the landlord. If you bring a residential agent with you, I'm gonna win as the landlord, because I know the stuff to play in. You don't, right? And you don't have the time to. Not that it's a bad thing, but it's just the truth. And it's not that we're, as the landlords, trying to take advantage. It's just they know, like, the first deal we give out, a lot of times that's going to be closely with what we get done, when usually we're used to 7 or 8 revisions.
Yeah, it goes back and forth, and
to get to an end deal. So you always put out the deal to start with where you know where you're going to negotiate your way down, because it's part of the negotiation game in the real estate world. But that's also leading into why we have created the new service this year, right? So 2026, we created the service called Blueprint, right? And that Blueprint is really for business owners.
Yeah.
Instead of being fee-based, but it's more about how do we provide that service to that business owner to give them the information, the background, whatever it is, so they can start planning. Because the other thing with real estate is you have to plan, right? You want to move.
It takes time. It takes much longer than most people think.
The permitting process takes as long as you think it takes to move.
100%.
And you haven't lifted a hammer yet, right? So talk a little about Blueprint. What is Blueprint? Like, how does it work? I mean, you're kind of running it, right? You're running like a lot of day-to-day with it, so you kind of have that ins and outs knowledge of it more than I do.
Yeah, no, it's fun. It's a way to really just start to bridge that conversation with owners of businesses early on in that process. Whether they have a lease that's expiring and they want to move somewhere else, or if they want to explore the possibilities of owning their own building or what that looks like, or if they want to do a ground up development themselves. It's all these questions and really things that business owners want to think about, at least as I see it, things that they would want to think about as they look at that next step. And it's hard to know who to ask. It's hard to know where to go to get those answers of what does make the most financial sense, or what really even their options are. Maybe they're unaware that they're getting a lower rent where they're at and they're used to paying that and they want to own, but the idea, maybe once we start putting those numbers together, like, it's difficult for them to be able to own. And then it's like, well, maybe we look at your current space and we could go to the landlord and renegotiate, like, so many different things. So really what it is, it's just putting all those different options on paper to owners and giving them, as best of numbers as we can. Obviously, they're still approximate there, because as you go through the process, different things come up, different questions get asked, and then that changes the project. But it's really just allowing them to see the blueprint of what it could be to go in different directions, and really I think another big piece of that it does too is like the questionnaire that we've built, it really is thought-provoking questions for them to really start to think. Like, most people have the idea of what they want to do, but then they've never really asked themselves the questions that we ask our clients every day, like when they are contemplating what that next spot is. Like, it just forces them to really think constructively and put thought into things that they may not have thought about, and then they discover more through that process for themselves, which then in turn makes that next decision for them even better and more educated from their own perspective, and then from our deliverable, which we then deliver to them. It's like, here are the options, here's what it looks like. Now you have more ammunition to make a decision that's best for you.
So what does somebody get through Blueprint, and what's that like process?
Us, you know, we obviously explain the service to them, and then really if they're open to it, we send them a questionnaire, which then allows them to really have those thought-provoking questions. You know, it's roughly 20, 25 questions. Could grow, could shrink. We're morphing it. We're building the process. But then what that does is we take that and we also ask for a few things, you know, like their lease and really like maybe a floor plan or different.
Yeah, whatever they got, basically.
Whatever they have, just to help us, you know, paint the picture of where they're at currently. And then a lot of what those questions do is then ask them like where they want to be or what they want to be. And then it's really taking that, synthesizing that data, and then allowing them like, okay, if you want to stay here, this is what a potential monthly, you know, payment could be. If you want to expand where you're at, here's what that could look like. If you want to own your own building, this is what that could look like. If you want to go to like a build-to-suit opportunity with a developer, you know, they would develop it, you would lease from them, but you would be able to, you know, have some design elements in it when it's going up to make it your own. This is what that could look like. So again, it's just a typical real estate client would come in and they would say, I want to go lease a space. So we'd go out, we'd help them lease a space, and then maybe they would miss out on the different opportunities that they could have done. So what Blueprint does is it paints the whole picture for them and then allows them to really look at what they feel is the best for them, so that they can
in a factual educational decision, right? Because they can see all the options on a piece of paper and what the pros and the cons are, what the costs look like from upfront to long term, and then they can plan for their future, right? It could be something that somebody does today but doesn't actually have to move for 3 years, but at least they have a plan in place, right? And it's a different model than traditional brokerage, right? It's different than fee model. Yeah, we make money on it, but it's truly providing a service where it's like business owner, like you have now this set thing, right? Let's make sure you get into a spot where you have enough space, or you don't get in too much space, or we actually figure out what is going on through that Blueprint process, instead of it just being ABC business owner, where do you want to be? How much space do you need? What do you need to do? Okay, let's go do that. Wow.
There's so much more discovery.
There's so much discovery. There's so much, I mean, that goes into it, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's consulting for your business from a location, from a real estate perspective, right? Compared to, it's like hiring a consultant or anybody to look at your business from an operations standpoint. What processes should I have in place? Who should I hire? When should I hire? Who should I fire? What accounting software should I use? It's the same type of thing, except before you go and need a new space. Right? It's not something you do like, I need a space today. Well, it's too late. It's something that needs to be done beforehand to kind of plan your way through it, right? So what do you, from a marketing standpoint, what do you see as one of the easiest things that brokerages can do better to provide more value for business owners from a marketing perspective? Compared to what you see, it could not even what we do here, but like, what do you see as like one thing that even we could do better to provide more value for that business owner that's entrusting us with their real estate?
Marketing's weird. Marketing's a tough thing. You know, like I know I've sat through various meetings with you or by myself of different marketing agencies, for InVenture, and they all have a different way of doing it. So I don't know if there is a right or a wrong way. I think the first thing you can do is just be curious with it, try new things. If something's not moving, redo the marketing, get some new pictures done, just freshen it up, get creative with it. I know one thing that we're looking at exploring more, which I'm excited for, is just more like video type content when it comes to the spaces, like get on site, walk it. People can see it. I mean, it's one thing to see a few pictures in a brochure, but then if there's a video walkthrough, they can, somebody's walking through and explaining what's going on with the property, just painting that picture more clear for somebody. Because they could be 30 minutes away and a walkthrough is no problem for them, or they could be 10 hours away and having anything out there for them to get a better idea for it.
Well, yeah, you're like, you might have local people here, right? But maybe the major decision maker that actually signs the lease is from San Francisco.
Mm-hmm. And if that content is made right away, or that walkthrough is made right away, it's just then it's keeping the deal moving. It's not like, oh, they want to see it, I better go out there and get a video walkthrough. It's like, no, it's right here. Here, take a look at it. Because if these properties don't have it and yours does, that's one way that you're already elevating.
You're gonna get more attention, right? In real estate and marketing and business in general, in today's day and world especially, it's all about attention. Yeah. How do you get more attention? How do you get more eyeballs on your property online, right? Yeah. It's the same thing. You go online, right? You're looking through hundreds of different leasable space from office standpoint. What's going to stick out? A static image or something that's got a play button to show a video of something, right? What's going to do more? Because like you go to tours. Yeah, here's your flyer. A flyer ends up in the garbage.
You look at it,
nobody brings it back out. They go online.
But with flyers, like that is one thing that I harp on, the associates here. It's like, I want in that flyer, I want there to be a floor plan. I want there to be rate. I want there to be cam listed and what's in cam. Whereas some people, and I understand if you hide that stuff, it gives a person a reason to call you, and then you can.
What if you don't pick up the phone?
We don't pick up the phone. Like, I just like that information to be very clearly communicated. Agreed. So this is what you're getting into. There's obviously, when somebody's there and they see it, I mean, there's always things like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that, or I didn't realize that. But even if there's just a floor plan in there, they can at least see like, oh, this makes sense.
Because if you don't have the floor plan in there, what's the first question you get asked in the tour? Can I get a floor plan? Or they call, can I get a floor plan? Well, why isn't it just in the brochure, right? And I just harped on brochures beforehand, but to your point, like, you have to have them because it is the best spot for all of the information to be in one spot. So at least it lives on the website already, on CoStar, Catalyst, whatever the site is, at least it lives on there while you're doing it, right? It's not like, okay, now I got to go find it and send it. Like, everything should be at everyone's fingertips so that they click on it, boom, I can see the floor plan. Oh, it doesn't work. Okay, move on. Oh, it does work. I like that. Okay, now let's set up a tour. But now they're coming to tour a space of ours, and they've already seen it. They've seen the walkthrough, so they like what it looks like inside. They maybe know they already need paint and carpet, or they need a water spigot, whatever it is. But then they also can see, oh, the floor plan's there. Okay, this is what it looks like. So people who come in and actually tour are, I call it highly warm leads, because they've seen it. They know what it is. They're not coming into it blind, not knowing if the paint is peeling off, if the lights are hanging down, if something random is happening inside. And your spaces should be clean. I mean, should be a no-brainer, but it doesn't happen.
It's not always the case.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
I think too, like one thing with marketing, especially like on the, even like a brochure creation or just like how you communicate properties in marketing, like trying to paint a picture of the area. It's one thing that I've really tried to be better at with what we do here. I mean, it's one thing to put the building there. Well, anybody can go on Google Earth or go on CoStar and they can see, the property, but then it's like, try to paint a picture for what's around it. Try to paint a picture for the community. Try to do things so that when somebody's looking at it, they can envision themselves there, not just from a building standpoint, but then from an area standpoint. Like we have listings in downtown St. Cloud, like have a retailer map with some restaurants on there so they can show there is walkability here. Like it's not just
doom and gloom.
Your silo with here's your building, that's all we're looking at. It's like when people are making a decision to where to go, whether it be lease, buy, whatever it is, like there's much more to it than just the singular building.
Correct.
And allowing people, you know, that, or providing people with that information, I think is very important as well.
No, I think you're totally right. I think that's a good segue for us. I mean, looking at what the market is doing, right? The old way of doing real estate coming into the new way with AI coming in, social media being even more important, online presence being more important. It's all about like what can you do and how can you do it better, right? So I think for everyone coming from at home, like take a look. Like if you hire commercial real estate agents or you're looking to hire one, ask those questions, right? Be intuitive. Ask what they're doing for marketing. Ask and have them show you the videos that they've done in the past, or what their floor plans look like, or how they can actually help provide you value, and get that on the front end, right? And if you don't, well, call us. We're always here, right? At least from the state of Minnesota, we're here to help from a brokerage standpoint. But Blueprint we can do across the U.S. So, thanks for listening. For everyone that's there, like, subscribe, comment, shoot us a message. You can find us on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, on our website, InventureProperties.com. We're here. We want to help, and we're going to continue to provide value, and maybe say some things that are continuing to be against the grain on some of the stuff that you've heard or want to know going forward. So thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.